Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we are going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Telltale Omid, who is going to be coming to the game as an event character. The event he's going to be in is called Autumn Arcade. More information on that event to follow soon. Visually, we have seen Omid in the game before and he looks kind of cool. He looks kind of how he did right at the beginning of Season 2 of Telltale's The Walking Dead. He didn't feature too long in Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2, but these are the visuals. He has got the injured leg, which I think he still had at the beginning of that season, and he looks just kind of cool. I like the fact that he's coming in as a duo with Christa. I don't think we had an Omid in the S-Class era. I think the only one we've ever had is a tough version in the 5-star area. If you look on the left-hand side, we can see an animated visual here. I really like the animated stuff. We can see some walkers behind the door. It kind of gives me Game of Thrones vibes, you know, like hold the door. Yeah, I'm not sure there. If we look at the stats at level 1,440, limit break 3, he has got 15,874 attack, 35,276 defense, and 37,040 HP. He is a tough character, of course. It's going to be a support role, Gold Mythic as well, and of course he's going to be joining the Telltale Allegiance as another defensive fighter by the looks of things. Now first up we're going to be looking at the Adrenaline Rush, and it is called Healthy Aim. It has got a recharge rate of 55 AP, which is pretty fast. Attack an enemy for 100% damage, plus 100% damage for every 10,000 max HP this fighter has. When on the defense team, make an additional attack for each other Telltale Allegiance teammate, prioritizing new targets. The potential of this is actually pretty crazy. Himself on base has 30,000 extra HP, so he'll always hit for 400% damage on this rush. If he's got Clementine as a leader with this plus 70% on the leader skill, that HP is going to get massively boosted, plus the weapon bonus. This could potentially hit for like 1,000% without too much of a problem. Then again, for every Telltale fighter, it will hit 1,000% against multiple characters. His attack stat is not his greatest, but do remember, he is going to be doing this against attack team characters who don't have much HP, don't have much defense, and this could potentially be absolutely destroying these characters when he does it. Okay, so I'm going to show you this Adrenaline Rush in two different ways. First, I'm going to show you the top part, the main part in terms of the pure damage. He has got 100,000 HP right now, so he should be getting plus 1,000% damage on this Adrenaline Rush. We'll just focus one of the damage roll characters. Like I say, they don't generally have boosted HP or defense. He'll do the Adrenaline Rush, and it will hit for 22,000. His base attack is not the highest, like I said, so it's not going to hit for absolutely crazy levels, but you could potentially put like an attack mod on this character or something just to boost it a little bit, and maybe that would work. This is on an attack team. Obviously, against defense teams, this is not going to work, but this is just to show you how much HP he has. So when I put him on a defense team, you're going to be able to see how much damage he can do, but this time he's going to do it 3 times because there are 3 Telltale characters in this team. Now this time around, as you can see, we are putting this team on defense, and this time around it should do the same sort of damage, but it also should do extra attacks against multiple enemies. It did say it'll prioritize additional enemies, so it won't just do attacks to the same enemy. I will hit defend action. We should see 3 attacks come out, but we'll see what happens here. First attack comes out, and it is going to take down 1, and then 2 more attacks come out as well, as you can see. It does look like it does trait damage. As you saw, the first one did do trait damage against Duck, and it can do reasonably significant damage based on his max HP, which can get a lot higher. He is unmodded as it stands, and he has only got a 35% HP weapon, so I think you could probably get an extra 200 to 300% on the damage on this. And remember, these attack characters will never improve in stats on defense and HP, generally speaking, on attack teams. So yeah, his damage output could be pretty good here. And it is honestly quite an interesting mechanic which they've decided to introduce with this character. I kind of like the idea of how this works. We could potentially see this in the future with new characters based on their allegiance, you know, so on and so forth. You could see this with new characters on attack teams as well, based on certain things as well. So like I say, pretty interesting. We'll see if this ever comes back. Like I say, I think it actually seems pretty decent. If we look at the upgrades here, you can see at grade 2 it gets an upgrade where it gets plus 50% damage for every 20,000 max HP this fighter has. So initially it is going to be 20,000 max HP, and it's only going to be 50% of the boost. And then at grade 4, the AP cost gets reduced from 66 down to 55. Limit Break 1 comes in, and it'll be plus 50% damage for each 20,000 max HP this fighter has. So it'll be 100% for every 20,000. Then at Limit Break 3, there is an upgrade where the damage increase threshold is reduced to 10,000 HP, and this is a massive boost, especially because obviously he's going to be able to get up to the 110, 120,000 HP mark without too much of a problem, I feel, and the damage output here could be immense. He can potentially get bigger HP boosts as well on his passives. He didn't get even the best potential output from that passive, which we'll look at in a second. But yeah, I like this potential on the mechanic, but also how it works here looks actually pretty good. It is a pretty quick rush as well, 55 AP, and Omid can't really get one shot very easily, so he has a good chance of getting large amounts of AP if he does get attacked because of his specialist skill, which again we will look at a little bit later on in the video. But first we'll look at his signature move, and it is called Stay Focused. It has got an initial cooldown of turn 1, cooldown of 0 turns, number of uses unlimited, revive a teammate with 50% of their max HP, 3 Telltale Allegiance teammates get focus for 2 turns, 2 other teammates get focus for 2 turns. This is actually pretty amazing. Not just on defense teams though, it could potentially have some usability on attack or in certain game modes. That means every turn he can use his signature move. Every turn he's going to be giving out a revive potential on the Telltale defense team with massive amounts of HP. 50% max HP means, you know, 60,000 plus on some of these characters. And then the fact that he can potentially fully focus a defense team if there's 2 other Telltale teammates in the team. And then, like I said, this is going to be 24/7 focus potentially on that defense team. That one turn when he adrenaline rushes, and it's not going to happen, it lasts for 2 turns, so it doesn't matter. So, you know, the next turn he's going to refresh it, and it's going to come back. This signature move is actually kind of crazy. It does mean he's not going to attack too often either, which means he doesn't have the potential of, you know, proccing weapons or proccing passives on attack team characters if they had any bonuses. For instance, characters that when they get attacked, they can potentially get attack boost based on their specialist skill, so on and so forth. That's not going to happen here with Omid. Okay, so here we are attacking a team, and Omid has got a lot of down teammates, but this is his specialty, to bring these characters back up. We haven't got a weapon in his hand, so he hasn't got massive amounts of HP. He is, of course, not a leader either. So when he does his adrenaline rush, it won't do much damage. This isn't to showcase the adrenaline rush too much. It's just about the signature move. When I hit the defend action, he should pick someone up, and they should get revived, obviously. 50% max HP, but they also should get focus, at least the first 2 characters. But if there was more characters in there that were Telltale Allegiance, remember it's the faction, these old Telltale characters shouldn't count. I'll hit the defend action again, and you can see he's not going to do any attacks. He's going to get 35 AP every time he does his signature move. So naturally, on turn 3, he will do his adrenaline rush, and you can see he's just going to continuously pick up characters. I'm going to just hit the defense again. This time he will do his rush. It won't do much damage at all because he has not got much HP. But then he'll go back to his signature move, and you're going to see another character get revived. And then we'll get some adrenaline rushes coming, but we'll do some defense. And again, he'll put in another character revive. And this is just pretty interesting, the amount of, you know, power that he's going to bring to the table on a defense team. But like I say, I think he potentially has usability on some roadmaps, maybe, or maybe on some attack teams. But obviously, it's more about when you want this to happen. You can't hit the auto button on a roadmap with this guy, otherwise he's just never going to attack. But yeah, difficult roadmaps could be useful. But on a Telltale defense team, this could be immense, honestly. This could be immense. If we look at the upgrades, it says at grade 3, it gets an upgrade where 2 other teammates get focus for 2 turns. So initially it's not going to give any focus to other teammates, only Telltale characters. And at grade 5, we're going to upgrade where reviving a teammate with 50% of their max HP. You only need 2 copies of this character to get that revive in. Then at limit break 2, it gets -1 to starting cooldown, where it goes from a turn 2 starting cooldown down to a turn 1 starting cooldown. This is pretty important if you want it to go off every single turn, and ideally that would be the way to go. This means off of turn 1, if one of your teammates get nuked, he is going to pick them straight back up if they are in a revivable state, which is obviously great. Then he's going to be able to do it the next turn. Even if you don't get him to limit break 2, it will always be a 0 turn cooldown, which, like I say, is pretty useful, being able to do it every turn. Every time there is a revivable character, they will get picked straight back up and take their turn as well. So if they've got a signature move to do, that's absolutely great. They can't do their rush, obviously, they won't have the AP, but this is actually really, really powerful for a support character. And yeah, thumbs up from me in terms of this usability on defense teams. From an event character as well, I like to see it. This does mean that decaps are going to be even more important now than ever when you face teams with Omid in it, just because of the fact that he can just pick up characters periodically. So yeah, big thumbs up on this signature move. Very useful in general, maybe niche on attack teams and roadmaps, but really heavy potential on defense teams, especially the Telltale defense teams. Now, Omid, of course, has some mythic abilities. These are his passive skills, and he is a support character, so he does have the Cunning passive, where when attacking or being attacked, he has 30% less chance to trigger enemy weapon effects and walker effects. This is primarily going to be when he gets attacked. He's not going to attack too often because his rush deals damage, and his signature move, he doesn't do any damage, he just revives somebody and does his focus. So this is mainly about him being attacked. But this means he won't have things like double attack proc too often, or attack-based HP bonuses. For instance, 45% attack when attacking characters with more than 50% HP. He should block these things. This generally will just have the potential of reducing certain characters' damage. Again, if the characters that are attacking him deal damage, it's not going to work. The next passive is called Effective Support. At the start of each turn, when this fighter has 50% or less HP, heal for 20% of their max HP, but heal an additional 20% if Telltale Christa is on the team. This reminds me, I think, of the Halloween Steve, who did pretty much the same deal. When he was under a certain amount of HP, he would heal back up. So I think most people understand how this works. It is going to get a boost if he is in the same team as Christa, and they seem to be absolutely fine to work together. And the fact they were quite accessible characters, obviously Christa being in a gold rush and this is being an event character, is actually pretty cool for free to play. The next one is called Healthy Tail. This fighter gets 10% max HP for each Telltale Allegiance teammate, but it also includes Omid himself. So if he is in a team by himself, he'll just get a 10% HP boost. If he's in a team with 4 other Telltale characters, he'll get a 50% HP boost, which will obviously increase his survivability, but also increase the damage output of his adrenaline rush based on his max HP, which is actually awesome. This should multiply with weapons and leader skills and so on and so forth, which is great. The last passive is called Dizzy Start. At the start of each wave, there is a 60% chance 2 random enemies get dazed for 2 turns. This is actually pretty powerful. It's going to happen more often than not, and daze is really good against a lot of damage dealers nowadays. Previously, damage dealers were all about adrenaline rushes, but now there are some very heavy damage dealing signature moves out there, and this has a good chance to block 2 characters that have them, which is obviously great. There are also some pretty good controlling signature moves on turn 1 as well. Again, it has the potential to just stop those from being able to happen. However, this is only going to be at the beginning of each wave and not each turn. Okay, so if we look at Omid in a defense team by himself, he is going to get a 10% boost. I think he was at 37,000 HP on base, and he's going to get boosted up to 40,000, just a 10% boost. But for every Telltale character that gets added, he'll get additional HP on top. So as you can see, I've added another 3 characters, and he has gone boosted up again to 51,000 max HP. Now, if we add Clementine as the leader, he's going to get an extra 10% because of Clementine being a Telltale character, but also an extra 70% because of the leader skill. That boosts him up to a pretty massive 94k base, no mods, no weapon, This is honestly pretty immense. If we add in the weapon, again, it'll be pretty high as well. As you can see, we're going to put in this Magnus shotgun on the far left-hand side. It has only got a 43% boost, but now he is at a 137,000 HP. I've seen weapons with 55% HP on them, so you can get much higher than this. And obviously, if you want to, you can give him additional stats with his mods, which I would do if I was you. Okay, so here we are off of turn 1, and we're just going to be using Omid and Christa together just to show some of the other passives here. Now, obviously, he has dazed 2 characters. Julie got dazed, and so did Duck here. And then if I obviously do some damage against him, what we're going to see is at the beginning of his turn, he will get healed because he is under 50% of his max HP. Because Christa's in the team, he should get healed by 40%. If you guys have used the Steve from the Halloween event, you should kind of understand how it works. I'll hit the defend action here, and you can see he gets healed in 2 actually separate occurrences. He gets healed for 8k based on him being obviously healed by the 20%, but the extra 8k will be because of Christa, so that's actually just worth noting. And that's going to happen every time he goes below that threshold when it comes to the HP. So if we do a little bit more damage again and I hit the defend action again, he'll get healed by 40% again because of the fact that he's lower than 50% of his max HP. Now if we look at the upgrades on the passives, you can see effective support part 1 comes in, where at the start of each turn, when this fighter has less than 50% HP, he'll heal for 10% of his max HP and an additional 10% if Telltale Christa is in the team. Then at grade 2, he gets the first half of Cunning, making weapon procs less likely to happen when being attacked and attacking. That's going to be a 15% chance. Then at grade 3, effective support 2 comes in, making it a 20% heal when he is under 50% HP, and then an additional 20% if Christa is on the team. Moving on to grade 4 and 5, we can see Healthy Tail Part 1 comes in, where this fighter will get 5% max HP for each Telltale Allegiance teammate, which includes himself. And then at grade 5, we can see Dizzy Start Part 1 comes in, where at the start of each wave, there's a 20% chance 2 random enemies get dazed for 2 turns. Moving into the limit breaks, Cunning 2 comes in, making it 30% less likely to proc weapons when being attacked or attacked. At limit break 2, Healthy Tail 2 comes in, making it 10% total for each Telltale character, including himself, and that's a massive boost. And at limit break 3, Dizzy Start 2 comes in, making an additional 40% up to 60% chance 2 random enemies get dazed for 2 turns at the beginning of each wave. His passives, I think, are very nice for his kit, very nice for a support character, and his HP is going to be pretty immense, honestly. I think there's only 1 or 2 other characters that have bigger HP boosts off of their own passives, and that is going to be Peacekeeper and Nor, but they don't have the leadership bonus that he's going to be able to take advantage of, which is going to be Clementine with 70% boosted HP. So his HP should be up to absolutely monumental numbers. I'm thinking 150, 160k, and remember, for every 10,000 of that HP, he's getting 100% boost in that Adrenaline Rush. So suddenly it's doing 1,700% damage on that Adrenaline Rush. Even if he only has 15 to 20k base attack, he'll do crazy damage against these attack characters that only have 20k HP. That shouldn't be a problem. He could potentially wipe an entire team in the right circumstances. Obviously, bonus HP can stop that, so that's just something to note, but there's generally not any added defense or added base HP on those characters, so they're very susceptible to heavy damage. And like I say, I like these passives. Again, another pretty big thumbs up from me. Pretty solid defense character from what we've seen so far. I like it quite a lot, honestly. He's going to be pretty useful for quite a lot of teams out there, but very useful on a Telltale defense team. Now, if we look at his specialist skill, we can see that he has got Tenacity 2. I believe this is the first time free-to-play have got Tenacity 2. If this fighter's health is above 20% and they take damage that would take them out, their health will be reduced to 19% instead. This fighter cannot be decapped, and that means that obviously the halo off of turn 1 that he can receive from Telltale's Clementine lead, he will obviously always be able to get revived unless he's been normalized, but that is, generally speaking, you would think a wasted normalize when there are more problematic characters on defense teams. I think this is actually quite a nice specialist skill for him. That 20% HP is going to be actually pretty high, though. It could be in the realms of 30 to 35 to 40k HP when he's getting that proc. And then do remember, he will heal up the next turn if he is still alive, and then push himself above this threshold where it will proc again on the next turn because of his passives that heal him for a minimum of 20%, but up to 40% if Christa is in the team. Like I say, I think his kit works pretty well, and this specialist skill on top, especially if there's another revive in the team as well. Do remember that when a character revives, they can instantly do their signature move, and Omid has a signature move that revives. So we could see some chain revives come in where Omid gets picked up by the Halo or by another character, and he'll instantly do his signature move and revive another character that's downed. This is going to be pretty frustrating when you're attacking teams with this character in. Now, last but by no means least, he does not have an attached weapon. There is a weapon in the battle pass right now that would be pretty good for him. It doesn't have any control on it, so you might want to think about that, but it will be very high in stats. You can obviously boost it up to 55% HP, so that is actually a pretty good weapon for Omid, and it's his weapon, which is obviously great. It's a rare occurrence that a character can use their own weapon. But you can put any weapon you want in his hands. Generally, HP is the way to go looking at his kit, but you don't want to miss out on some defense just to get some damage reduction in there. So this was Gold Mythic Telltale Omid, and he's going to be coming to the game, like I said, as an event character, and he looks pretty good for a defense team, just in general, I think. But like I say, on a Telltale defense team, even more so, a big thumbs up. I think if you're having trouble with certain difficult roadmaps, he will be pretty useful there, because he can just quickly revive your teammates. You know, if you're coming up against those burn roadmaps, maybe Omid himself needs to have some sort of a burn resist on him if you are having real problems, but kind of niche usage there. Really nice for free to play regardless. I think this is going to be a kind of staple defense team character going forward for a lot of free to play people out there, and I can definitely see him sneaking onto some people's defense teams, especially if they have got Clementine lead, because he gets a big boost. Those revives every turn are going to be really nice. I can see him being pretty frustrating to deal with on those Clementine teams. But do tell me your thoughts on Telltale Omid, how the Telltale Allegiance releases are kind of shaping up now. Let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.